So, what does that 12-channel ground look like? You might also be noticing a few other changes here and there too. Well, you almost can't even tell the difference between it being 2D and 3D unless you look real close. Okay, I'll get up higher where it's easier to see. Still can't see it? Well, that's the thing about the 12-channel system. And that's the real nice advantages. But you might also be noticing a few other things here, like what's with the roller coasters being so different, and what's with those two new rides? Well, that's what this video is all about, explaining the numerous updates I've made to Platform Masters. And I mean numerous. You should be very familiar with this, right? I covered that in previous segments. Basically, it just revolves around the color wheel, pretty much. Every single ride and such here is based primarily on platform hopping, if this gives you any hint. Mini Platform Master, it's just like a little miniature platform level. It's very difficult to see, but if you were to actually look at it up real close, it gives you a pretty good idea what platform levels might be like. Platform levels. Not like, well, it'd be like this, except it's... This is awfully small in terms of size, but it does at least give you kind of an idea. So what's this? Well, anyway, you might also be noticing the flags here also look different too. The light poles, the flags, the ride. This one's changed some because they used them. I thought floors were spaced like 12 or 14 feet apart, not 10. So I've ended up redoing that, and among that was also the flags. But this, watch it, there it starts. That's basically that one ride that goes around in circles. But if you notice here, this light here that goes up and down, lights up like that, well, it's actually based on the height of this thing, about kind of the center where the riders would be. It basically makes 10 loops around. Yeah, this is 1,031 frames. 1,031. But it only uses 48 unique frames. Pretty interesting, huh? 1,000 unique frames. Thank goodness, that's a lot. Hey, now it's starting to go back the other way for another 10.5 loops, or something like that. You're probably wondering what this is. Well, if you've seen the screenshots and stuff before, that's Carnival Desert. Only it's really scaled down. After all, the name Explorer kind of gives you an idea. Exploring the desert, you know. Because when you're hopping platforms throughout this game, you're basically, in a way, exploring. After all, 18 worlds is a bit crazy. Hey, and it's starting to go back. And for another set of reloading. But, here's the roller coaster. What's different about it? Well, originally it was something like 100 or so feet high. I've drastically increased that, big time. How high is it now? It's around 400-ish. This one over here, somewhere in there, does get to about 400 feet high. Why that much height? So the coaster can get to 100 miles an hour. Yeah, this. At this kind of distance, it's pretty slow, but it really gives you an idea. I named it Island Glider. And of course, the little miniature islands here and there kind of give it away to some extent, or at least give a hint at that. But that's pretty much all the little changes I've made to Carnivalesta. But you might also be noticing something odd here. That's actually intentional. Why? Well, these are light poles here, right? Well, they go clear out to the very edge of the carnival grounds. And what happens when light goes beyond that? Because it does spread out. Well, I just thought, might as well make the most out of the 12-channel ground system, and to go for it. But that's not all the changes I've made. Ready? This is Cavern Forest. Sure don't look too much different, don't it? Well, what do you suppose these are? Seems to be an extra layer, doesn't there? And if you look real close, this is actually flowing. 18 miles an hour. It's a bit on the fast side, but hey, it's coming from the mountains, so what would you expect? After all, Cavern Forest, if you looked at the overworld, you'll see just that kind of thing. But these are a new addition into the mix. But these are pretty much unchanged, and these are unchanged. Well, pretty much everything here is unchanged. The only difference is that the river now flows and uses the 12-channel ground system to its advantage. And, well, other than that, really nothing is different. But the main one I want to show you, get ready. Nodera Ice Shelf. That's what this is. So what's so special about this strange place? Well, you probably remember the screenshot, right? Well, the simulation screenshot is based on this exact height. Well, it's rounded down, floored, as it is in the programming. But this scene almost exactly matches what it would be, except for the clouds being added and the on-screen data. You might be noticing a few things are different here too. As in, previously it was a Class 1 bug and an inconsistency in the style and design, because they used this text here used a different font and the such. But this is now radically different. But you might also be noticing, what's with this SS? Well, I've formatted it in a way so that it's much easier to determine what levels are which. SS for supersize. There's J and then a number following it for the jumbo levels. But then there's BO for boss, TU for tutorial. And there's ST for story. Yeah, Nodera Ice Shelf is World 15. But other than that, there really ain't too much of a difference here. But there's a lot of interesting things I wanted to show you. But notice the water here. Look how opaque it is now. But get some height, and it's kind of hard to see what's behind. Go underneath, and, well, of course this is the bottom. If you fall below the bottom of the screen at this point, like right here, then fallout occurs. You lose a life instantly. But here's another thing. Yep, there's that one effect, and it's completely independent of this. It's kind of a it took a while to figure out how to do this, but after all, they managed to get it to work. Yeah, I just made an extension onto that test level just to get that, demonstrate it. But this is the big iceberg, one of the main ones. It's really pretty close, but it's also massive. You might also be noticing, notice the speed here is 0. That's because it moves on its own, constant 6 miles an hour. It's basically the same speed as the waves. And of course there's smaller icebergs off in the distance here too. And yes, even this water moves, you can see that more easily. That 12-channel system is really nice. So why is it called Nodera Ice Shelf? This is why. This is the edge of the ice shelf itself. Yeah, I've still got to watch these draw counts and stuff. But otherwise, there's really nothing much different here. Though, so you're probably wondering, what about SDL and the such? Well, it seems like SDL is strictly C++ and the such, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. Well, I'm kind of thinking of an alternative to that, but all I really need out of SDL is nothing more than full screen and VSync. That's it. My alpha blend system is otherwise pretty fast. Faster than I expected, really. But then again, after enough optimizations, you know, it kind of helps. But anyway, this video was created by Ulillillia. Thank you for watching.